According to the National Electrical Code, Article 314.27c, junction boxes shall be installed for all ceiling lights and wall-mounted fixtures weighing more than 6 pounds or 2.7 kilograms. Article 410.16c further specifies that fixtures must be attached to outlet boxes, junction boxes, or wireways. There are several reasons for requiring a junction box. Firstly, safety is a primary concern. A junction box provides a safe enclosure for electrical connections, preventing accidental contact with live wires. Secondly, accessibility is enhanced. Junction boxes allow for easy access to wires for maintenance or repairs. Thirdly, fire protection is improved. Junction boxes help contain electrical arcs or sparks that may occur during connections. Fourthly, support is provided. A junction box offers mechanical support for the fixture. There are several consequences of hardwiring without a junction box. Firstly, code violation occurs. Failure to install a junction box violates building codes and can result in fines or permit denial. Secondly, there is an increased risk of electrical accidents. Exposed wires can pose a shock or fire hazard. Thirdly, there is a lack of accessibility. It becomes difficult to access wires for troubleshooting or repairs. Fourthly, poor support results. The fixture may not be properly supported and could fall, causing damage or injury. The National Electrical Code mandates the use of junction boxes for a variety of reasons predominantly centered around safety, accessibility, and structural integrity. Without a junction box, the risk of electrical hazards significantly increases, posing a threat to both property and individuals. A junction box serves as a protective barrier, fully encasing electrical connections and minimizing the potential for accidental contact. The exposed wiring can lead to electric shocks or even fires. The presence of a junction box allows for a secure and enclosed environment, mitigating these risks. Accessibility for maintenance and repairs is another crucial factor. When electrical problems arise, easy access to wiring is essential for troubleshooting and resolving issues efficiently. Junction boxes offer a convenient point of access, allowing electricians to inspect and repair connections without having to dismantle the entire fixture or delve into the wall or ceiling cavity. This not only saves time, but also reduces the potential for further damage during the repair process. Furthermore, junction boxes play a vital role in fire protection. Electrical arcs and sparks can occur at connection points due to loose wiring, corrosion, or other factors. A junction box acts as a fire-resistant enclosure, preventing these arcs and sparks from spreading to surrounding materials and potentially igniting a fire. The box contains any electrical activity, minimizing the risk of a larger fire. The structural support provided by a junction box is equally important, especially for heavier light fixtures. These boxes are designed to withstand the weight of the fixture, ensuring it remains securely mounted to the wall or ceiling. Without a junction box, the fixture may be inadequately supported, leading to potential damage to the wiring, the fixture itself, or even the surrounding structure. Failure to comply with the National Electrical Code regarding junction boxes can lead to a range of consequences. Code violations can result in fines, permit denials, and even legal action. Building inspectors are responsible for enforcing these codes to ensure the safety of buildings and their occupants. Non-compliance can delay construction projects and create unnecessary expenses. Moreover, bypassing the use of junction boxes significantly increases the risk of electrical accidents. Exposed wiring is a constant hazard, posing a threat of electric shock to anyone who comes into contact with it. This is particularly dangerous in areas with high moisture levels, such as bathrooms and kitchens, where the risk of electrocution is amplified. The lack of accessibility for troubleshooting and repairs can also lead to further complications. When electrical problems occur, diagnosing and fixing the issue becomes more difficult and time-consuming without a junction box. This can result in extended periods of downtime, inconvenience, and potentially higher repair costs. In summary, the National Electrical Code requires junction boxes for light fixtures for a good reason. They provide essential safety, accessibility, fire protection, and structural support. Ignoring these requirements can lead to code violations, increased risks of electrical accidents, and difficulties in maintaining and repairing electrical systems. It is crucial to prioritize safety and compliance when installing light fixtures, ensuring that junction boxes are always used as required by code. When considering electrical installations, it is important to understand the fundamental role of junction boxes and their compliance with the National Electrical Code. The National Electrical Code, often abbreviated as NEC, sets the standard for safe electrical design, installation, and inspection to protect people and property from electrical hazards. In residential construction, ensuring adherence to these codes is not just a matter of compliance, but a commitment to safety and long-term reliability. Now let's delve into a detailed exploration of Article 314.27c and Article 410.16c of the NEC, which specifically address the requirements for junction boxes and their application to lighting fixtures. Article 314.27c of the National Electrical Code explicitly states that junction boxes are mandatory for all ceiling lights and wall-mounted fixtures that exceed a weight of 6 pounds, equivalent to 2.7 kilograms. This requirement is primarily driven by safety concerns related to the mechanical support and electrical isolation that junction boxes provide. When a light fixture is directly hardwired without the support of a junction box, the weight of the fixture is borne entirely by the electrical connections themselves. Over time, this can lead to strain on the wires, potential loosening of connections, and an increased risk of the fixture detaching from the ceiling or wall. The junction box, on the other hand, provides a secure mounting point that can safely support the weight of the fixture, preventing these hazards. Furthermore, the junction box serves as an enclosure for the electrical connections, protecting them from physical damage and accidental contact. This is particularly important in areas where the wiring might be exposed or vulnerable to impact. By encasing the connections within a durable enclosure, the junction box minimizes the risk of electrical shorts, arc faults, and other electrical hazards. Article 410.16c of the National Electrical Code complements the requirements of Article 314.27c by specifying that all fixtures must be securely attached to outlet boxes, junction boxes, or wireways. This provision reinforces the importance of providing a reliable and code-compliant means of supporting and connecting lighting fixtures. The term outlet box refers to a box specifically designed to house electrical outlets, while wireway refers to a raceway system used to protect and route electrical conductors. By requiring that fixtures be attached to one of these approved methods, the National Electrical Code ensures that the electrical connections are properly protected and mechanically supported. The attachment must be done in a manner that is both secure and accessible for future maintenance or repairs. The use of screws, bolts, or other approved fasteners is essential to ensure that the fixture remains firmly in place. The accessibility of the connections is also crucial, allowing electricians to easily inspect, test, and repair the wiring as needed without having to dismantle the entire fixture. Beyond the explicit requirements of the National Electrical Code, there are several other compelling reasons to use junction boxes when installing light fixtures. Firstly, safety remains the paramount concern. Junction boxes provide a secure enclosure for electrical connections, preventing accidental contact with live wires. This is particularly important in areas where children or pets may be present, or where the wiring might be exposed to moisture or other environmental factors. The risk of electric shock or electrocution is significantly reduced when all electrical connections are safely enclosed within a junction box. Secondly, accessibility for maintenance and repairs is greatly enhanced with junction boxes. When electrical problems arise, easy access to the wiring is essential for troubleshooting and resolving the issue efficiently. Junction boxes provide a convenient access point, allowing electricians to inspect and repair connections without having to cut into walls or ceilings. This saves time, reduces the potential for damage, and simplifies the repair process. Thirdly, fire protection is improved with junction boxes. Electrical arcs and sparks can occur at connection points due to loose wiring, corrosion, or other factors. A junction box acts as a fire-resistant barrier, preventing these arcs and sparks from spreading to surrounding materials and potentially igniting a fire. The box contains any electrical activity, minimizing the risk of a larger fire. Fourthly, mechanical support is enhanced with junction boxes. Light fixtures, especially heavier ones, require adequate support to prevent them from falling or damaging the wiring. Junction boxes provide a sturdy mounting point that can safely support the weight of the fixture, ensuring that it remains securely attached to the wall or ceiling. This is particularly important in areas subject to vibration or movement, where the fixture might be more prone to loosening or detaching. Now let's consider the potential consequences of hardwiring light fixtures without using junction boxes. Firstly, code violations can occur. As previously mentioned, the National Electrical Code mandates the use of junction boxes for most light fixture installations. Failure to comply with these requirements can result in fines, permit denials, and other penalties. Building inspectors are responsible for enforcing the National Electrical Code, and they will typically require the use of junction boxes when inspecting electrical installations. Secondly, there is an increased risk of electrical accidents. Hardwiring without junction boxes leaves electrical connections exposed, increasing the risk of accidental contact with live wires. This can lead to electric shock, electrocution, and other serious injuries. The lack of a protective enclosure also increases the risk of electrical fires, as arcs and sparks can easily ignite surrounding materials. Thirdly, troubleshooting and repairs become more difficult without junction boxes. When electrical problems occur, diagnosing and fixing the issue becomes much more challenging when the wiring is buried behind walls or ceilings. Without a junction box, electricians may have to cut into the building structure to access the wiring, causing damage and increasing the cost of repairs. Fourthly, there is a potential for reduced property value. Homes with non-compliant electrical installations may be difficult to sell, as potential buyers may be concerned about the safety and reliability of the electrical system. Building inspectors may also require that non-compliant installations be corrected before a property can be sold, adding to the cost and inconvenience for the seller. In summary, it is essential to adhere to the National Electrical Code and use junction boxes when installing light fixtures. Junction boxes provide essential safety, accessibility, fire protection, and mechanical support. Hardwiring without junction boxes can lead to code violations, increased risks of electrical accidents, and difficulties in troubleshooting and repairing electrical systems. By prioritizing safety and compliance, you can ensure the long-term reliability and value of your property. When it comes to electrical work, always consult with a qualified electrician who is familiar with the National Electrical Code and local building codes. They can help you ensure that your electrical installations are safe, compliant, and properly installed. The National Electrical Code's requirements for junction boxes extend beyond just residential construction. They apply to commercial and industrial settings as well. The specific requirements may vary depending on the type of occupancy and the nature of the electrical system, but the underlying principles remain the same: safety, accessibility, and fire protection. In commercial buildings, junction boxes are often used to consolidate and protect multiple electrical circuits, such as those serving lighting, receptacles, and equipment. These boxes provide a central point for making connections and distributing power throughout the building. In industrial facilities, junction boxes may be used to protect electrical connections from harsh environments such as exposure to moisture, chemicals, or extreme temperatures. These boxes are typically made of durable materials such as stainless steel or fiberglass to withstand the rigors of the industrial environment. Regardless of the setting, junction boxes must be properly sized and installed to ensure that they can safely accommodate the electrical conductors and connections. The National Electrical Code specifies the minimum size requirements for junction boxes based on the number and size of the conductors they contain. Overcrowding a junction box can lead to overheating, short circuits, and other electrical hazards. In addition to the size requirements, junction boxes must also be properly grounded to provide a safe path for electrical fault current. Grounding helps to prevent electric shock and minimize the risk of electrical fires. The grounding conductor must be securely connected to the junction box and to the building's grounding system. When installing junction boxes, it is important to use the correct type of connectors and fittings. These connectors must be compatible with the type of conductors being used and must provide a secure and reliable connection. Using the wrong type of connectors can lead to loose connections, overheating, and other electrical hazards. Finally, it is important to label all junction boxes clearly and accurately. Labeling helps to identify the circuits and equipment served by the box, making it easier to troubleshoot and repair electrical problems. The label should include the circuit number, the voltage, and any other relevant information. In conclusion, the National Electrical Code's requirements for junction boxes are essential for ensuring the safety and reliability of electrical systems in residential, commercial, and industrial settings. By using junction boxes properly, you can protect people and property from electrical hazards and ensure that your electrical installations are compliant with the National Electrical Code. Always consult with a qualified electrician when performing electrical work, and never attempt to work on electrical systems unless you are properly trained and qualified. Safety should always be your top priority when working with electricity. When dealing with electrical installations, it is crucial to have a firm understanding of the National Electrical Code and its guidelines. Specifically, let's discuss some of the fine print regarding junction box usage that might not be immediately apparent. Firstly, the type of junction box matters. The National Electrical Code recognizes various types of junction boxes, each designed for specific applications and environments. For example, there are boxes rated for wet locations, suitable for outdoor use or in bathrooms, and boxes rated for dry locations, intended for indoor use in dry environments. Using the wrong type of box can compromise its ability to protect the electrical connections and can even create a safety hazard. Secondly, the full capacity of a junction box is critical. The National Electrical Code specifies the maximum number and size of conductors that can be installed in a junction box based on the box's volume. Overfilling a junction box can lead to overheating, damage to the conductors, and even electrical fires. It is essential to calculate the fill capacity of each box and ensure that it is not exceeded. Thirdly, the accessibility of junction boxes is important. The National Electrical Code requires that junction boxes be readily accessible for inspection, maintenance, and repairs. This means that they cannot be hidden behind walls or ceilings without providing a means of access, such as an access panel or a removable cover. Fourthly, the proper grounding of junction boxes is essential. The National Electrical Code requires that all metal junction boxes be properly grounded to provide a safe path for electrical fault currents. This helps to prevent electric shock and minimize the risk of electrical fires. The grounding conductor must be securely connected to the junction box and to the building's grounding system. Fifthly, the use of approved fittings and connectors is critical. The National Electrical Code requires that all fittings and connectors used with junction boxes be approved for their intended use. This means that they must be listed by a recognized testing laboratory, such as Underwriters Laboratories UL, and must be installed according to the manufacturer's instructions. Sixthly, the proper support of junction boxes is essential. The National Electrical Code requires that junction boxes be securely supported to prevent them from falling or becoming damaged. This can be achieved by attaching the box to a structural member, such as a stud or joist, or by using a suitable mounting bracket. Seventhly, the labeling of junction boxes is important. The National Electrical Code requires that all junction boxes be clearly and accurately labeled to identify the circuits and equipment they serve. This helps to make it easier to troubleshoot and repair electrical problems. The label should include the circuit number, the voltage, and any other relevant information. Eighthly, the protection of conductors entering and exiting junction boxes is crucial. The National Electrical Code requires that all conductors entering and exiting junction boxes be protected from abrasion and damage. This can be achieved by using suitable cable clamps, bushings, or other protective devices. Ninthly, the proper spacing of junction boxes is important. The National Electrical Code specifies the maximum spacing between junction boxes on a branch circuit. This helps to ensure that the voltage drop on the circuit remains within acceptable limits. Tenthly, the use of weatherproof junction boxes in wet locations is essential. The National Electrical Code requires that all junction boxes installed in wet locations, such as outdoors or in bathrooms, be weatherproof. This helps to prevent moisture from entering the box and damaging the electrical connections. In addition to these specific requirements, the National Electrical Code also contains general requirements for the installation of electrical equipment, including junction boxes. These requirements include ensuring that the equipment is installed in a neat and workmanlike manner, that it is properly supported, and that it is protected from physical damage. It is important to note that the National Electrical Code is a complex and constantly evolving document. It is essential to stay up to date on the latest requirements and to consult with a qualified electrician if you have any questions or concerns. Ignoring these requirements can lead to code violations, increased risks of electrical accidents, and difficulties in troubleshooting and repairing electrical systems. By prioritizing safety and compliance, you can ensure the long-term reliability and value of your property.